Hi everyone, this is Brian from Heartbreaker Watch. I thought I would do a little quick showdown between the Speedies that are out on the market right now. There's been a couple of new additions, and I thought I would maybe just show everyone my experience with them. You can see I've got 4 of them here. Several of them don't even have the plastic off. I was sort of just waiting to compare them all to decide which one I really liked best. So I hope this is helpful to you, and if it is, let me know. This will be pretty much just me going over the basics of them all. I'm not going to do like an in-depth review type situation, but just sort of wanted to show you know, the differences, the similarities, what I like about them, what I don't like about them. I am not an expert on watches, but I know what I like, and I like Moonwatch Speedy style watches, as I'm sure a lot of us do. So first I will show the Pagani design, which most people are probably familiar with. A lot of people probably have one in their collection, if not the black you know, moon Speedy style, maybe like this this red one I'm wearing today, which I really love actually the colors on this one. So I am not averse to Pagani design and their watches. I own several of them. I think a lot of them are really great. They're not the best watches out there, but for the price, they're hard to beat. So I really love this red one. In fact, so much that I just bought the blue and white one as well. But we're going to talk about this one today. So I've got the Pagani design chronograph. I've got this on a gray leather strap because I was just kind of mixing it up, and I liked the look on the leather strap. I've got the Phylida or Phylida. This is one that's been around for a while, and I think for a long time it was really the one to beat in terms of the most accurate version of the Speedy in a Chinese Homage watch. It was just more similar, I think, to the original one than the Pagani. It is more expensive, and it does continue to be kind of hard to get. They go up on the shop on AliExpress and disappear pretty quickly. So I didn't even know if I wanted this watch or if I would like it, but I grabbed it just because I thought it might be my chance to get it and see what I think of it. So I had purchased this one originally, liked it a fair bit, but then I had the opportunity to buy this one, and I grabbed it. And then, of course, shortly thereafter, the Watchdives versions came out. So when I had the chance, I grabbed the Watchdives one because I had heard so many good things about it from other reviewers, and that maybe this was sort of the new one to beat. And then a lot of talk was happening on the forum about the fact that they were going to come out with a version 2. I was under the impression that maybe that would be later, a while later, and that it would be maybe more expensive, even a lot more expensive. It seems like there was some conversations around that. But to my surprise, just about as soon as I received this one, the new one was released, the version 2, and I've got that one here. And so yeah, I'm gonna just sort of show you the differences between all of these. Now, I think the one that I'm probably missing, and I don't think I have a need to go out and get it, but this is the version 3 of the Pagani chronograph, but they do have a new version 6 out now in this colorway that is more accurate on the bezel, and it does have the Speedy style dingleberry there at the top at the 12, so it has become a little bit more accurate in terms of just a few little nuances. So if you want a Pagani one, the V3 I think is probably still the most affordable, but you can go up to the V6, which is newer, I think it's probably a little bit more at the moment just because it's new, but maybe a little bit more accurate and still probably cheaper than these other ones. So if you want something affordable, I think, you know, Pagani is always a good choice. So I'm just going to go through these. Hopefully you can see the dials here on my video. This is kind of my first attempt to do something like this. So it's pretty good. You know, it's got the style. From a distance, it certainly looks like the real thing. I don't think until you really get it close up do you notice some of the differences and some of the maybe things that are less accurate on the Pagani than some of these other ones. But it's got the black, you know, dial with the white indices, white, you know, hands, and pretty close to the looking to the real Omega one. But the way that these smaller dials are set in, these sub dials are set in, they're just sort of, I don't know if you can see it on the camera or how well this is going to show up, but they're just kind of setting in there. Almost looks like they're just another layer underneath the original dial. So just more like a cutout, I guess is the way I could explain it. Something that is a little unique about this one, though, compared to the others, is it does have a date. So if you're somebody that likes dates, I personally like dates because I wear watches to work, and my job requires that I know the dates a lot. So I like having a date on there, and it's kind of hidden in a unique little place. It's also got some blue AR on it that's really noticeable. I kind of like blue AR on some watches. I'm not sure if it's my favorite on this particular watch, but if you kind of like that blue tinting on your watches, it's definitely got that, and it's pretty visible. It does have the sort of rocket and moon. You know, it's homaging the moon watch, so they've got their own little spin on that on the back, which is kind of nice. And it's the PD 1701, which is a clever nod to Star Trek, so that's pretty fun too. So what I don't like about this one, I've sort of mentioned a couple things already, that it's maybe less accurate. It works fine. I find with the Pagani chronographs, though, the pushers can be really hit or miss in terms of, it seems to be working well right now for me, but on wrist, sometimes I hit these pushers and I have to hit them a couple times before it'll take, and then the bottom one sets it back. So decent watch, nice watch, especially for the money. I think it's a really nice case on it. We can do a quick measurement here. I've got my caliper, so we've got 39 approximately, and 13.7 millimeters thick. Not bad considering, you know, this is the style of watch. It's kind of got a thickness to it, but it does really have a nice case shape with some polished edges around the top and some brushing a little bit to this on the sides, and it looks pretty good. But I think the case shape gives it a thin look, and we're going to talk about that when we get to the Watchdives one. And it has a nice beveled edge below the crystal, so I think it's a really nicely designed case shape. It's just got a few little things that, you know, make it maybe not as good in some ways, but that's not to say it's not good in general. It's just compared to these others. So I don't think you can go wrong with this watch for the money. If you want this style of watch, or if you're not sure and you don't want to invest in a more expensive one, this is probably a great one to start with. So for the money, I highly recommend it. I probably won't wear it much now compared to one of these other ones. You'll see I didn't even take the plastic off all of these because they kind of came in all around the same time. and I think I'll probably decide which one of these I want to keep, because I don't, as fun as it is to kind of have all of these, I don't really think I need all of these. So, but we'll see. So, again, really nice case shape. Overall, a solid watch for the price. I do recommend it. Now you will find, I took it off of the bracelet. It came with a bracelet similar to the one I'm wearing here, and it is kind of jaggedy, I will admit. I think it feels good on wrist, but it does have some sharp edges. It's not as nearly as nicely finished as it could be, and that's just something that, you know, it tends to be a common theme with Pagani watches. So it's not bad, but it is, I mean, I'm running my finger underneath here, and it's scraping all across there. Doesn't usually bother me though when I'm just, you know, wearing it on my wrist. So the next one we'll look at here is the Phylida, or I'm not sure how you say it, but this one is a lot heavier, I think in a good way. The dial is a lot nicer. You've got these applied indices that they really stand out. They've got polished edges. It's got the more accurate dingleberry, as I'm calling it, at the noon index. It's got sort of a little mini indice down here at the 6. It's got your 3 subdials. They're set in a lot nicer than the ones on Pagani. The bezel is a lot smaller. Granted, it is a lot harder to read just because it is smaller. The Pagani one's really easy to read. The numbers on this one are tiny. But it has a really nice crystal. It also has a pretty nicely shaped mid case, and the pushers, I think, are a lot more reliable. Actually, it's not wound right now, but from playing with it, a little bit more reliable, less mushy pushers than what's on the Pagani. So this, I think, is a really nice watch overall. I think really what sets it apart over all of the others is the movement. It is just like beautiful. I don't know how well, I guess I should have taken it apart, taken the plastic off so I could open this up just to show this movement better. But it's just beautiful looking, and it, you know, unfortunately, when you're wearing it, you're the only one that's going to know about this movement. But when I first got this and opened it up, I was just amazed at what this looks like on the inside. It just kind of blew my mind, like how pretty it is. So that's really, I think, the reason to get this watch is if you appreciate, you know, kind of the beauty of the movement, then, you know, I think you'll appreciate this watch. We'll do measurements on this one. It is a little bit chunkier, and it is definitely thicker. So we're at about 14.3. So it wears taller on the wrist. The edge is also nicely beveled, but different than the Pagani. Here, I'll just take some of this off so you can see it a little bit better here. Nice polished edges, nice polished mid case here with brushing on the side, and then that gorgeous movement in the back. So, you know, if you want something that you're gonna have to wind, like the original one, so to speak, you probably would appreciate this one. It also, I think this has a really nice bracelet. I haven't opened it up all the way, so I guess my comparison video is failing already, but my experience with their watches is the bracelets are pretty solid. It feels, like I said, heavy, like it's got some substance to it. So I don't think your money would be wasted on this one, especially if you really like, you know, this movement here. And then here's where things get a little bit, I think, a little bit more fun, is when we get into the Watchdives ones. So it hasn't been long since they released this watch, their version, and there was talk right from the get-go about them sort of doing a second version of it, and I'll show you why. If you don't already know, if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you already do. But the bezel looks good. It's, I think, probably similarly accurate like the Phylida one is. They look, this one's, I think, a little bit easier to read. But it does have these nice beveled edges on the subdials, and it's got really nice indices and hands. They are not quite as fancy as what's on here, where they have this nice kind of polished edge on all of the indices. It kind of gives it much more depth. So I do think that's something really nice on this one. But overall, this is just a really nice watch. When I received this one, I thought, man, as much as I really enjoy looking at the back of the Phylida one, this one's the one to beat. And I think that's pretty much been the sentiment. So it's got a nice tapered bracelet, and it looks good to me. Here is sort of the point of contention with this watch in some sense. It has a nice polish on the lugs, brushing on the mid case, but it has this very thick mid case here. Something like you'd probably see on like maybe a Tudor style watch or something like that. Still has nice beveled edges leading up to the crystal. And let's see, we'll go ahead and measure this one. So I've got 41.2 and 13.8. So it's going to wear a little bit lower than the Phylida. It's definitely got some weight, but not nearly as much as the Phylida one does. So if you really like a chunky watch, this is the one to go with. But if you want accuracy to the original, this is a great choice. And I really wanted to just show the differences between these two, just because I happened to get them both around the same time. I don't think you can go wrong with this if you get the version 1. It's really, I think, still a great watch. Yes, they've maybe made some, quote, improvements on the second one, but whether or not it's worth upgrading if you already have this one, I don't really know. I don't know that it is. I think if you've got this one, you're probably very happy with it already. And unless you just really want, you know, the latest and I'll say greatest, then, you know, I don't know if there's really a need to upgrade. But you can obviously make that decision. So this one's just got kind of a boring coin edge on the back, but still a really nice watch. And they've been running these with coupons and sales and stuff, so if you get it on a rubber strap, you can get it relatively cheaper, which is nice, but I opted for the bracelet. So that's the version 1. And then let's compare it to the version 2 here, because I think this is really what people are going to want to see. I know a lot of photos have been going out and little videos and wrist shots, and I think that's great. I just thought I would give my own thoughts about this. So if you're looking at them side by side, especially just looking at the dial, there's really no difference, at least nothing perceptible to me. I think it's got to be the same. I'm sure, I mean, it is the same. So again, when you're looking at it at the dial, it's identical. So again, if you've got the version 1, why go up to the version 2. What you're going to see in terms of the dial is identical. Where it gets interesting, though, is what they've done with the mid case, and this is what they said they were going to do when they mentioned they were going to make a new version. So I hope this is showing up on camera. There we go. What they've done is they have decreased the size of the mid case and increased sort of the watch back. So this one's pretty flat on the back. This one is thicker, and it's got those little kind of divoted things you would open, you'd use to open up the back versus the coin edge. So I think they've given it a nicer case back, but it's a deeper case back, I guess is what I'm trying to say, just to sort of offset the mid case. So, it really just depends on if that's worth it to you. If you don't have one of these, then I think probably the version 2 is the one to get. Just because I think it looks like it sits a little bit thinner on the wrist, even though, let's see, this is probably what people want to see, 13.7 millimeters on the version 1 and 13.7 millimeters on the version 2. Well, maybe 5, maybe if I squeeze it a little bit. No, it's identical. So really they've just, because they're fitting the same movement in there and the same dial, and everything else is the same as far as I can tell. They've just made the mid case thinner and the case back thicker and deeper. So it does sit differently on wrist. I have very small wrists, so I'm just going to sort of try to show this as an example. I don't even know if you can see it here like this, but it is going to sit a little bit different on the wrist. It's going to kind of give the appearance of a thinner watch just because of the way they've sort of redesigned it. So of all of them here, I do think that this is the new one to beat. I do think that the dial looks good. Everything about it looks good to me. And then the mid case, it's just a little bit nicer looking. I like the thinness of it. I like these kind of turned down lugs. It just gives the appearance that it sits lower on the wrist, versus, of course, this one, which is just a really thick boy. The Pagani one, if you look at the two of these, the case design is maybe the most similar. I'll do these two again just so we're looking at them by comparison. So we've got 14.2 and again like about 13.5. So still a fair bit thinner than the Pagani, but the style I think is the most similar in terms of the Pagani also has this very thin mid case with a thicker case back. But this just has a nice domed crystal. The Pagani has a very flat crystal. They're both sapphire, so you're getting that feature regardless. So I hope this has been helpful. Like I said, I'm not an expert on watches, and I don't even know how well this video is going to come out because I've never really done anything like this before. But I thought since I was comparing these for myself, this might be something that other people are interested in. So if this is helpful for you, let me know. I hope it is. And I think really any of them you're going to be happy with. They all obviously maintain the same type of style of the original. They're homaging. So I think they're all great choices. They've just got their little sort of nuances between them. But if I decide to, I'm going to definitely keep one of them. It's going to be this version 2 of the Watchdives. Again, nothing against the other ones. I just think overall it's the nicest. So anyways, that's my comparison. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.